Hello guys and welcome to the channel. This is Salty and you're watching Salty Rides. So I'm on the highway from Bangalore to Hyderabad and I was thinking, why not give you my 2 cents, or probably in this case it's gonna be 6 cents on how to ride safely on a highway. So without further ado, let's get on the tarmac and walk you through the P.H.I.S.S protocol. I mean, it's called P.H.I.S.S. That's what it's called. Just remember, when on the highway, always remember the P.H.I.S.S. All right, let's get on the tarmac, and I will see you in a minute. Welcome back, guys. We are on the highway, as you can see. So let's go through the P.H.I.S.S protocol. It is P.H.I.S.S. So those are the 6 points that you need to remember. Let's go over them one by one. Let's start with P. P is for prediction. And this basically has to do with your ability to predict what is going to happen around you. Basically, you need to predict what the traffic around you is going to do. Try to anticipate what anyone who is in your vicinity is going to do, and then you take preventive measures. Like they say, prevention is better than cure. The same way, prediction is better than being in a shit situation and then dealing with that situation. If you don't get into a shitty situation, you don't have to deal with it. That's as simple as it gets. So that was point number 1. Point number 2 is H for hydration. So when you're on a highway, and especially in tropical climates like in India, the sun is going to be bearing upon you. When you're in gear, you're going to be sweating profusely and you're going to be losing water. So the main thing that will help you from getting into a very dehydrated condition is to stop and hydrate regularly, preferably in intervals of 1 hour, 1.5 hours. You should rehydrate, have 400 to 500 ml of water, and then carry on. If you are somebody who doesn't want to stop frequently, then you might consider investing in a hydration pack. I think you get it for 2,500, 3,000 rupees. That is something you might think of, so that you don't get dehydrated. What happens when you get dehydrated is that you get you might tend to have a headache, you might get dizzy, you might lose concentration on the road in critical times, which could be dangerous, fatal at times. So make sure that you drink enough water while you're doing long tours on the highway. The next one is I for intersection. Now, Indian highways, if you have ridden on them, you know that there will be a lot of villages, there will be a lot of towns while you're on the highway. Just like this, there are going to be intersections, and there are going to be people who are trying to take U-turns. There are going to be people who are trying to go from right to left. There are going to be people who are trying to go from left to right. All sorts of shit will be happening at that intersection. So you need to make sure that when you see a sign, like usually that's the yellow and black stripes, when you see that, just slow down a little bit. Just become a little aware, a little alert. Don't be speeding even when you see that sign. And just avoid any situation where you might get into trouble. At an intersection, a lot of things are happening. Like you can see right now, there's an intersection right in front of me, and there's a truck which is taking a U-turn, or well, yeah, it is taking a U-turn. Now, in this particular intersection, there are speed breakers, but then in a lot of places there are no speed breakers. You just see that there is an intersection sign, and you just have to make sure that you control your speed when you're at such locations. Don't be overspeeding when you approach an intersection. Now the next point is S. S is for, or rather the first S is for shoulder. Now, almost all highways in India, even the two-lane highways, which has only like, traffic going this way and that way on the same road, usually have something called a shoulder, right? So anything that is, I'm calling it a shoulder, you can call it whatever you want, whatever space there is between on the left side of this line, right, where I'm riding right now. Make sure that you make use of this particular section of the road, because a lot of times there will be cars that are speeding who are behind you. You might have traffic on the right lane and you might be on the left lane. There is somebody who is coming behind you at really high speeds. Just take the shoulder, give them the left lane, let them go. Don't let your ego get into the way. Make use of it. Also, let's say, imagine there is that trailer in front of you, there is one more trailer on the right lane, and you have nowhere to go. In those times, do this, use the shoulder. You can just circumvent all the nonsense that is going on the road and chill over here. Cool. So the next point, which is point number 5, S number 2 from the P.H.I.S.S. protocol. And S number 2 is situational awareness. Now, you need to be aware of what is going on around you, right? Situational awareness comes when you are always alert. You get to know what cars are there behind you, what cars are there in front of you, who is trying to cross the road. People cross the road in India, so shit like that might be happening. You need to be aware of what is going on around you. You can't get surprised by somebody who is kind of passing you at 120 kmph. Be like, you get jolted. You might get into a situation where you can't get out of accident situation because you are not aware what is happening around. This kind of ties into the point number 1, which is prediction. And when you're aware of what is happening around you, then you are better equipped to predict what is going to happen in the future, and you can take steps which will keep you safe. Now the last point is S number 3, and that is for speed. Now this is a very important point, that's why I saved it for the last. I'm going to spend a couple of minutes on this. You need to make sure that you always have control on the speed, or rather whatever speed you're at, you are in control and not the speed, right? The speed is not controlling you, you're controlling the speed, if that makes any sense. So, not saying that you should not be speeding. Like if you get an open highway, if there's not much traffic on the highway, for sure just let it rip. But just make sure that you don't go at speeds which you can't control. And the main thing over here is that when you are at very high speeds, then you're putting yourself at a lot of risk if you are not really aware of your situation and you're not able to predict what is going to happen. And to explain that with a few numbers, let's say you are doing 100 kmph on a dry road, which is not wet, right? So let's say you're doing 100 kmph on a dry road, and let's say something happens in front of you, right? Something goes down, you got to react to that. The fastest that you can react to it, that's called the thinking distance, right? The fastest, the thinking time, like your brain registers that something is happening, I gotta do something in reaction to that. The time taken for that is anywhere between 300 to 750 microseconds. So that's basically 30 to 75% of a second, right? Now, at 100 kmph, the distance that you will cover in this time is about 20 meters, like 15 to 20 meters, right? So 15 to 20 meters can be the distance between, getting or just to put it in better language, that can be the difference between you avoiding an accident and getting into a crash, right? So 15 to 20 meters is a lot of distance. Now that is just your thinking distance, right? You before even you react, you have already crossed 15 meters. At 100 kmph, for you to brake, like for you to go from 100 to 0, the distance that it's going to take for your bike to stop is about 60 to 70 meters. Right? So, alright, I'm sorry. So at 100 it is 50 to 60 meters, and at 110 it kind of increases. It goes to 60 to 70 meters, almost 75 meters it takes for you to go from 110 to 0. And it would take about 55 to 60 meters for you to go from 100 to 0. Now add that and your thinking distance, which is the 300 to 750 microseconds, or 15 meters in case it is 100 kmph, and it's about 20 to 25 meters when you are at 110 kmph. So you add that up, it can be anywhere between 75 meters to 100 meters before you actually come to a stop. That's mere seconds, right? There's not much room for error over there. It's just 100 meters, correct? If you are situationally aware and if you can predict shit, then you're not dependent that, I just have 100 meters to do whatever escaping maneuvers. But then if you do get into a situation at 100 to 110, you will need at least 100 meters to save yourself, to make yourself safe. Now just imagine you're doing 150, right? If you are hyper rider, hyper riding, if you're into hyper riding, you're doing 150. That distance increases. Your stopping distance goes up to 150 meters. Your thinking distance goes up to about 30 meters. Just imagine, dude. It takes you almost 180 to 200 meters to actually come to a stop properly. Let's say you're swerving out of the way, it's going to take you 150 meters. 150 meters is where probably that lay-by is. It just goes like this, within seconds, like there. You're going to get... If you add in wet conditions and at those speeds, your stopping distance kind of doubles. It'll take you 300 plus meters to come to a stop. Why am I harping about this a lot? It's because I want to make sure that the point is driven to the goal. If you're going at very high speeds, just make sure that you follow all the other 5 points from the P.H.I.S.S protocol, and just make sure that you're not, at the wrong speed at the wrong spot. Be at the right speed at the right spot. That's what you gotta do. So those are the six principles for safe riding on a highway. So that's it for this video. Let's keep it short and simple. Always piss on the highway. Don't piss on the highway. Go to the Sulabh Shauchalaya and then piss. I gotta say this, if not, Modi ji will be at my door if I say piss on the highway. That was a joke. Anyway, so that's it for this video. I hope you guys found the P.H.I.S.S protocol useful. If you think I've missed out a point, do let me know. I've got room for I, N, and G, which makes it pissing protocol. Anyway, so if you think I've missed something, do let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching the video. Hit like if you thought this content was useful. Hit like nevertheless, even if you thought it was dumb piece of shit advice. Hit the like button. Just do it. Just do it. If you're new, do consider subscribing. That's it for this video. Until the next one, stay safe, ride safe. Let's end this video with just observe what I'm doing, right? There's a blue car behind me on the right side. There's a silver car. There's a truck. What am I doing? Okay, this is gonna slow down a little bit. Look at that fucking prediction like a mouse.